Hey, my name is Claire, and this is a comic book collection that I inherited. I'm really looking to document my journey of going through all of these boxes to see what was passed down to me from my dad and my brother. I'm also hoping to learn about the comic book industry as a whole because, admittedly, I don't know very much about comic books themselves. Behind me is actually just a fraction of the collection that I have. I've been able to estimate that this is somewhere around 6,000 comics because each of these boxes holds 250 to 300 comics when it's just the individual comics. But as far as I know, all of the comics that are inside these boxes are inside of plastic sleeves with cardboard backing, which is going to take up a little bit of space. So the estimate that I've been able to get through research and through talking to some comic book store owners is that there's probably anywhere to 150 to 200 comics in each of these boxes. With that said, the collection as a total, I've estimated I have anywhere from 50 to 60,000 comics. I'll be surprised if there are more than that, but that's the estimate that I'm going off of right now. It's a rough estimate, and that's just because my brother did take some of the comics out of these boxes over the years and put them into plastic storage bins. And he did that because they weren't stored in the best possible way. As you can probably imagine from the condition of the boxes right now, they were stored in a basement that would occasionally flood. And with all of the, exposure to the elements, we would occasionally lose boxes on the bottom when it rained and flooded, and those would have to be thrown out. So even what I have today is not the collection in its entirety. Excited to see what's in them though, to see what's survived after all of this time, because these are 20-year-old comics and more. This is my collection of my dad's. He started it pretty early on in his life. I know as I was going through these and started this journey, my mom shared with me that he was a lifelong collector. So there very well may be comics from the 30s or 40s or 50s in here. I'm not banking everything on that because those would be quite rare and quite difficult to get a hold of. But I do know that there are comics in here from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Predominantly the 80s and 90s because that was when he was able to restart his collection. I do know that there are a wide variety of publishers within these boxes. So far, I've found Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Bongo, Malibu, and Archie Comics, and I've cataloged all of those comics by publisher, and I've gotten about 400 comics cataloged so far that way. And I've included the titles of the comics, the issue number, the volume number, just depending on what kind of information was available on the actual comic or the front page, if I was able to open them. I've also included the date that they were published, but some of them are in their original packaging, which is kind of what I was just alluding to. And that looks something like this. This comic is inside of a plastic sleeve, you can see, but if you can see this up here at the top, that's an indication of the original plastic housing that this comic was in, and it has not been opened or read. So hopefully it's preserved pretty well. The next time that I jump back into doing all of this, hopefully I'll be able to show you how I've moved some of the comics out of the storage plastic bins that they're in to nice new clean boxes. I'm going to pick up a few of those this week and hopefully be able to move what I have out of those bins and into fresh new boxes. So I hope I'll see you next time so you can kind of see what else I have, what's in those boxes, and we can catalog those. Thanks so much. Bye.